General Motors just shocked the truck world. Under CEO Mary Barra, the iconic V8 is back in the 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500. After years of engine failures, clunky shifts, and frustrated fans yelling, "Fix it," GM is investing $888 million to rebuild their legendary small block from scratch. But why now? What went so wrong before? And what's GM really planning while rivals abandon V8s for hybrids and turbos? Is this the comeback real truck fans have been waiting for? Or the start of a whole new V8 era? Let's be real. This new V8 for the 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 didn't just appear out of thin air. It's not like General Motors suddenly woke up one day and thought, you know what would be cool? Let's build a better V8. No, this move came from pressure, frustration, and years of problems that pushed even the most loyal Chevy fans to the edge. It came from a crisis, and now GM, under the leadership of CEO Mary Barra, is finally doing something about it. See, over the last 10 years, things got rocky for GM's full-size trucks. The 5.3-liter and 6.2-liter Vive 8s, once seen as bulletproof engines, started becoming a bit of a gamble. For a brand like Chevrolet, where the V8 isn't just a piece of hardware, but part of the brand's DNA, that's a serious issue. So what exactly went wrong? The short answer, a lot. But if we had to pick one standout issue, it's this: lifter failure. Now, if you're not an engine expert, lifters are small but important parts in the valve system. Their job is to open and close the engine's valves as the camshaft spins. When they work, great. When they fail, it's game over. Silverado owners were seeing lifters collapse entirely, causing misfires, check engine lights, and in the worst cases, complete engine failure. We're not talking about minor annoyances here. We're talking full engine replacements on brand new trucks that cost upwards of $50,000 or more. That's enough to make anyone second guess their loyalty. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, along came GM's smart tech features, specifically AFM, active fuel management, and DFM, dynamic fuel management. These systems were designed to improve fuel economy by shutting off a few cylinders when you didn't need all the power. It sounds clever in theory, but in practice, not so much. The added complexity introduced even more problems. Drivers started noticing odd throttle responses, weird hesitation when accelerating, and unpredictable performance. Plus, these fuel-saving systems put more stress on the already fragile lifters, which made those failures even more common. The result? Drivers didn't trust the tech, and many ended up disabling it entirely using aftermarket tuners. And let's be honest, when customers are modifying their brand new trucks just to make them reliable, something's gone seriously wrong. But wait, we're not done yet. Even when the engine managed to hold it together, the transmissions weren't helping either. GM's 8-speed and 10-speed automatics should have been smooth, responsive, and confident. Instead, they felt awkward and unrefined, especially at lower speeds. They'd constantly hunt for gears, shifting up, then down, then back up again, leaving drivers feeling like their truck couldn't decide what it wanted to do. It made daily driving feel clunky and jerky, exactly the opposite of what you'd expect from a full-size pickup designed for both power and comfort. Put all of that together: unreliable engines, untrustworthy fuel systems, and clunky transmissions, and you get one big problem: lost trust. Silverado fans are some of the most loyal truck owners in the world, but even they started walking away. Some went to Ford, others gave Ram a shot, and a lot of them simply sat back, hoping GM would get its act together. And now, that hope has finally turned into action. Under the watch of CEO Mary Barra, GM didn't just issue a press release saying, "We're working on it." No, they put real money on the table, $888 million to be exact. That's the investment GM made into completely revamping its Tonawanda propulsion plant in Buffalo, New York, one of the most historic engine plants in the country, and now the birthplace of GM's 6th-generation small block V8. This isn't a tune-up, it's a total redesign, new machinery, new tools, new systems, all geared toward making this V8 the most reliable and powerful version yet. GM isn't just building an engine here, they're building a statement, a promise that they're listening, learning, and doing better. And here's where it gets even better. That investment isn't just good for Silverado drivers, it's good for workers too. Over 870 jobs at the Tonawanda plant are being protected, with nearly 200 of those previously at risk. It's a rare win-win, building a better engine and supporting American manufacturing at the same time. While other automakers are ditching big engines and going all in on turbos or electric power, GM is saying, we're not there just yet. Mary Barra has made it clear, yes, GM is committed to leading the charge on EVs. But that doesn't mean ignoring the millions of people who still need, want, and love real V8 power. This new engine is about keeping that promise alive. It's about knowing your customer, and it's about balance, progressing into the future without abandoning what made you great in the first place. Let's be honest, this new V8 isn't just about horsepower or efficiency. It's about redemption. It's the GM saying, we've seen where we went wrong. We've studied the competition. We've listened to the people who matter most, our customers, and now we're coming back stronger. So what's actually different in this all-new V8? What makes it better than the old ones? What fixes have they made to finally break the cycle of problems? In the next section, we'll crack open the hood and take a closer look at the tech, the engineering, and the real changes that could make this the best small block V8 GM has ever built. Stay tuned. But the money is only one part of the story. What exactly is GM doing with this new engine? What makes it different? What makes it better? Let's break down the changes, because what's under the hood in 2026 is going to be very different from what came before. Alright, so GM has dropped nearly $1 billion and promised that the 2026 Silverado 1500 is getting a brand new V8. But what's actually different this time? What's changing under the hood that makes this engine more than just a new version of the same old thing? Let's break it down. First off, the valve train. This is where the lifter disasters of the past started. GM knew they couldn't mess this up again, so the new 6th gen V8 has a fully redesigned valve train system. It's stronger, more durable, and better lubricated. That means no more unexpected failures, especially when towing or pushing the truck hard. It's been built to take a beating and keep going, just like a proper truck engine should. Then there's cylinder management. In the past, GM's active fuel management and dynamic fuel management systems caused more problems than they solved. This time, they're doing things smarter. While we don't have every detail yet, GM has hinted at a reworked system that's less intrusive, more reliable, and possibly even optional on certain trims. That's a huge win for old school truck fans who just want all 8 cylinders running all the time. The engine is also being completely rethought in terms of efficiency and emissions. CEO Mary Barra has made it clear, this V8 needs to meet modern standards without losing what makes it great. So GM's engineers went back to the basics, rethinking combustion, improving airflow, upgrading cooling, and sharpening how the engine handles heat. The result? More power, better fuel economy, and cleaner emissions, all without adding complicated turbochargers or battery packs. And let's not forget the transmission pairing. One of the biggest complaints with the outgoing Silverado was how rough the gear changes felt. The new V8 will work with improved software and potentially upgraded transmission hardware, giving drivers a smoother, more responsive experience, especially at low speeds and when towing. Everything here is built with a clear goal: to make driving the Silverado feel effortless again. No more clunky shifts, weird hesitation, or wondering if your engine's about to fail. Just smooth, predictable V8 power. So yeah, this isn't just a fix, it's a full-on reset. GM is giving the Silverado's V8 the complete overhaul it's needed for years, and doing it without sacrificing the raw power and sound that truck lovers crave. But now that we've seen what's inside the engine, here's the bigger question. Why now? Why is 2026 the year GM is going all in? Let's take a look at the timing and why it might be their smartest move yet. So, with all this work going into the new V8, you might be wondering, why now? Why did General Motors pick 2026 as the big comeback year for the Silverado 1500? Well, the timing isn't just good, it's perfect. Let's start with the current Silverado. It's been around in its current form since 2019, and while GM's made a few updates here and there, the competition has pulled ahead. Ford just refreshed the F-150, and Ram's next-gen truck is on the way. GM knew it couldn't afford to fall behind any further. It was time to bring something fresh to the table, And the Silverado needed more than a facelift. It needed a new heart. Next, trust. Let's be real. GM's image took a hit over the last few years. Lifter problems, transmission issues, tech that didn't work right. It left a lot of loyal Chevy owners feeling let down. Launching a truly redesigned V8-powered Silverado in 2026 gives GM a chance to hit the reset button before those buyers commit to another brand. It's a shot at redemption, and timing it right is everything. Then there's the bigger picture. Electric trucks are coming, but we're not there yet. GM is making huge moves in the EV space, no doubt. Just look at the Silverado EV, Equinox EV, and Cadillac Lyriq. But most full-size truck buyers still want gas. They want something tough, familiar, and proven. Mary Barra and her team know this. That's why they're not rushing to abandon the V8. Instead, they're building a better one to hold the line while EV tech matures and infrastructure catches up. And don't forget, GM's full-size SUVs like the Tahoe, Suburban, and Escalade were just refreshed for 2025. That puts the spotlight squarely on the Silverado for 2026. It's the perfect window to bring something bold, something new, and something built to last. So, while other brands are scaling back or going all in on electrification, GM is threading the needle, giving truck buyers exactly what they've been asking for, right when they need it most. But how is this move landing with fans and critics? Are people buying into the hype? Or is GM taking a gamble? Let's wrap things up with a look at what this all means for the Silverado, for GM, and for every truck lover still holding out for the perfect V8. Let's face it, every car company these days seems to be downsizing. Smaller engines, more turbos, hybrid setups, and yeah, they all claim better fuel economy and lower emissions. But when it comes to full-size trucks, those numbers don't always tell the full story. General Motors knows that. And under the leadership of CEO Mary Barra, they've made a bold decision. They're sticking with the V8. While Ford's pushing EcoBoost V6s and Toyota replaced its legendary 5.7-liter V8 with a twin-turbo hybrid, GM is holding the line with a brand new small-block V8 for the 2026 Silverado 1500. And that's not just nostalgia, it's strategy. Because here's the thing, a naturally aspirated V8 still offers something that no turbo setup can truly match. Instant linear power, no turbo lag, no complicated boost control systems, just smooth, predictable performance. Exactly what truck owners need when they're towing, hauling, or just putting their foot down. It's simple, it works, and it feels right. There's also the sound. No one buys a full-size truck hoping it sounds like a vacuum cleaner. That deep V8 rumble, it's part of the experience. It's the kind of thing that turns heads in a parking lot and puts a smile on your face every time you start the engine. Try getting that out of a turbo V6. It's just not the same. And then there's long-term reliability. Turbos are complex. More moving parts, more heat, more things to go wrong, especially when you're pushing them hard in a work truck. That's why so many truck owners still prefer the simplicity of a well-built V8. Fewer components, proven tech, and easier to maintain over the long haul. Mary Barra and her team understand that truck buyers aren't just thinking about 0 to 60 times or fuel ratings. They're thinking about 10 to 15 years down the line. They're buying trucks to work, to last, and to drive with confidence. And that's exactly what the new 6th-gen V8 is built to deliver. So yeah, turbos might be trendy, but when it comes to real-world truck performance, tradition still wins. And in 2026, GM isn't just keeping that tradition alive. They're rewriting the rules with a modern V8 that finally gets it all right. Now, let's pull it all together. What does this mean for the Silverado brand? And is this the big turning point GM has been waiting for? Let's find out. Let's zoom out for a second. The new V8 in the 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 is a big deal, but it's also just one piece of something much larger. Under CEO Mary Barra, General Motors is playing a two-sided game, and they're doing it with serious intent. On one side, you've got GM going full steam ahead into electric vehicles. We're talking about massive investments in Ultium batteries, new EV platforms, the Silverado EV, and the Cadillac Lyriq, all part of GM's long-term plan to be all electric by 2035. Mary Barra has made that vision loud and clear. Electrification isn't just a trend for GM, it's the future. But, and this is the smart part, they're not forcing every buyer to switch today. That's where this new 6th generation V8 comes in. It's a nod to the millions of drivers who aren't ready to plug in yet. People who need real power, proven dependability, and the kind of grunt only a naturally aspirated V8 can deliver. So GM isn't choosing one over the other. Instead, they're doing both. They're pushing hard on electric innovation, and they're reinforcing their gas-powered lineup with smarter, tougher tech. It's a balancing act, but it makes sense because not every region has charging stations. Not every job site is EV ready, and not every truck owner is looking to reinvent the wheel. This dual approach also helps GM manage risk. If EV adoption is slower than expected, the Silverado and its new V8 are ready to carry the load. And if EVs really take off, GM's already miles ahead with its electric roadmap. Either way, they win. Mary Barra isn't just leading GM through a product refresh. She's leading it through a strategic transformation, one foot in the future, one firmly planted in what still works. That's how you keep loyal customers happy while staying competitive in a fast-changing industry. So yes, the 2026 Silverado's new engine is impressive on its own, but it's also proof that GM understands the bigger picture. And if this plays out the way they're planning, this dual strategy could be what gives GM the edge, both on the highway and in the boardroom. Now, let's wrap it up. With everything GM has set in motion, what does this really mean for the Silverado? And could this be the truck that finally puts GM back on top? Let's bring it all home. So, with all the pieces in play, the brand new 6th Gen V8, the massive investment from General Motors, and a clear direction under CEO Mary Barra, what does this actually mean for the 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500? In simple terms, this could be the truck that changes everything. We're not just talking about another refresh or some fancy new headlights. This is a full-blown redesign, and at the core of it is that all-new engine, an engine built to fix the flaws of the past and win back the trust of hardcore Silverado fans. Gone are the worries about lifter failures, rough shifting, or clunky throttle response. What we're looking at is a Silverado with power that feels clean and consistent, paired with smoother performance and engineering that's actually built to last. This is the first Silverado in years that feels like it's been designed around the driver, not just fuel targets or emission standards. The new V8 delivers the kind of confidence truck owners need, whether you're towing a trailer across the country or hauling lumber all day. It's that solid, dependable backbone that the Silverado was always meant to have. But it's not just about what's under the hood. The 2026 Silverado is expected to bring a whole new look, smarter tech, and a more refined driving experience. It's being built to compete directly with the latest from Ford and Ram. And this time, GM isn't playing catch-up. They're going on the offensive, with a truck that keeps its traditional soul but moves like something from the future. Mary Barra and her team know how much is riding on this. The Silverado is one of GM's crown jewels, and this next-gen model has the potential to reset the entire conversation. With the right mix of muscle, comfort, and reliability, the 2026 Silverado 1500 could finally give GM the edge it's been missing. So whether you're a lifelong Chevy fan or someone who gave up on the brand years ago, this is the one to watch. Because this isn't just about a truck, it's about proving that GM can still lead, and that the V8 still belongs at the heart of America's most iconic pickup. Now, let's wrap it all up. After years of setbacks, lifter issues, and lost ground, is this finally GM's comeback moment? Let's find out. This isn't just a new engine. This is GM's redemption story, and the 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 is the headline act. After years of frustrating breakdowns, lifter failures, and customer trust slipping away, General Motors is finally firing back with a truck that's built to fix the past and dominate the future. And at the center of it all is a brand new 6th generation small block V8, handcrafted to be stronger, smoother, and smarter than anything that came before it. Under the bold leadership of CEO Mary Barra, GM didn't take the easy route. While rivals chased turbochargers and hybrids, GM doubled down on what truck buyers actually want: power, reliability, and the soul of a real V8. They backed it with an $888 million investment, upgraded their plants, and redesigned their strategy from the ground up. The result? A Silverado that doesn't just keep up, it sets the pace. One that looks the part, drives with confidence, and sounds like a truck should. It's not just for weekend warriors or work crews. It's for anyone who still believes a full-size pickup should feel solid, last long, and make you proud every time you fire it up. So yes, General Motors just released a new V8 engine for the 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500. But it's more than that. It's a message to fans, critics, and competitors alike. GM is back, and they're listening. This isn't the end of the story. It's the start of a new chapter. And if the new Silverado delivers like it promises to, it could go down as one of the most important trucks GM has ever built.